Thank you, Dr. Chinappa. Once again, I thank the AAS for this wonderful opportunity for including our instruction course part of the program. So I'll be talking about toric IOL, how it is really to tackle the astigmatism. So I don't have any financial disclosure for this particular talk. See, toric intraocular lens was first introduced by Shimizu in 1992. Since then, increase in the predictability and enhanced safety of toric IOL implantation has been firmly established. It has claimed universal approval to use correct preoperative astigmatism as low as 0.75 diopter in patients undergoing cataract surgery. Can any admin, can you mute other persons? Thank you. So 20% of the patient with the cataract has got astigmatism more than one diopter. So it's very important whenever the patient comes to you, before you counsel them for cataract surgery, to know that their keratometer reading. Even if you have got a autorefractometer also, it takes a central 3 mm of keratometry. That gives a fair amount of idea. Every incision on cornea induces additional astigmatism, that is a surgical induced astigmatism. Implantation of monofocal lens will require a distance and near correction both in these cases. But we have been implanting bilateral toric IOLs, which gives high level of spectacle independence. So once again, patient selection, as I already said that, of course, regular astigmatism less than 0.75, do we have to really opt for toric IOL? So this is with the three pictures, I think patient with a 0.25 cylinder and patient with a 0.75 cylinder and the patient with a 1 cylinder. You can see the overall picture, how their vision clarity. So coming to the toric intraocular lens power calculation, precise keratometry is very important. You need to know how much is your surgical induced astigmatism. Coming to the keratometry, you have got automated keratometer, you have got a corneal topographer and optical biometry. So K readings from all these shows high repeatability and comparable. So corneal topography is required in some cases of unusual reading and poor quality of Myers. So coming to the surgical induced the astigmatism calculation, always see how you have to know your own surgical induced calculation. So you make a chart, fill it for 20 to 30 case minimum, then obtain a SIA calculator, then you know how much is your surgical induced astigmatism. Then be precise about your axis and the incision. So coming to the IOL power calculation, always axial length measurement should be done with the IOL master or lensar. However, even immersion biometry, immersion ultrasound also may be used. But make sure that when you're doing immersion, you have to sterilize this Prager cell very well. So only corneal astigmatism should be used for IOL calculation. So various companies have got their own calculators which can calculate the power according to the surgeon comfort. Also suggest the steepest axis for the incision, making thereby giving the least residual astigmatism. So let me come to the marking technique. Accurate marking of the alignment axis should be performed with the patient in an upright position in order to prevent the cyclotorsion. This is very important. Firstly, horizontal axis is marked preoperatively at the stent lamp with the coaxial. Then you can turn the slit onto the 0 to 180 degree. Marking is either you can done marking with the bubble marker, you can, some people even mark with the needle also, or some people even mark with the sterile ink. These are the top 4 errors that cause a disappointment in toric lens. That is mainly important is preoperative measurement error. Second one is incorrect marking on the reference cornea. A lot of people just mark, they won't take in front of the slit lamp. Then, of course, your marking might be wrong. Then you will land up in problem. One more important thing, incorrect placement of the lens. If you're marking, you're not seeing on the on table, then there may be chances of incorrect placement of the intraocular lens. Failure to take into the account impactability. Once again, I insist on the surgical induced astigmatism. So out of this incorrect marking, I can give the first, I think, disappointment, and second one is the incorrect placement of the intraocular lens. So for marking of the axis, there are different methods have been there in the market since last couple of years. Most of us till today do manual method. iris finger round printing technique, image guided systems now already there in the market, and intraoperative aberrometry, which is going to be the ultimate. The three-step of manual marking method is fairly accurate. A mean error of 2.4 plus or minus 0.8% has been observed during the axis marking with a bubble marker, with a total error of 4.9 degree plus or minus 2.1 degree in toric IOL alignment. So coming to the reference marking, so let me have a one or two word about the cyclotorsion. Patient's change of position from upright to the supine position induces an average positional change of almost around 4.1 degree. So mark the patient of 0, 90, 180 degrees with the patient sitting up looking straight. See, different type of markers available in the market, but the intent and the principle remain the same. Marking the intended incision site, intended final position is very, very important. See, this is about the nudes bubble marker. You can see here. This is a short video. I'm just showing you how exactly this marking, how you mark the horizontal meridian marking. So always prefer to do under the sit lamp, but if you are well versed with the patient in a sitting position, always prefer to put the good speculum where patient cannot squeeze that much. So this is the one marker I think always Dr. K.K. Mehta used to tell is most of his presentation before about the Akayoshi marker. This is also principle behind the bubble marker only, where when you do the proper marking, you can see the green light in the Akayoshi marker so that your marking has done the perfectly well. This is the one or two point I want to tell about the smartphone gyroscope. Thanks to our friend Saurav Patwardhan who has developed this smartphone gyroscope. After marking patient sitting in the supine position, then patient sitting, then you mark it. Then with the help of this gyroscope, you take a click. Once you take a click, then it has got a reference how exactly whether your marking has done properly or not. Then go to that setting, then make sure that where exactly. Then it will tell that how much is, see in this picture, you can see there is a 3 degree which has been oversighted. So you can, it will tell that how much is your axis to put, how much where you have to put the lens. This is going to give, this is almost accurate in compare with any of the digital system. So coming, this is the one point I just wanted to tell you. 1 degree of mal rotation always negates for 3.3% of its toricity. If it is 0.65 to 3.3% of the cases with more than 10 degree of rotation from the target axis, you need to be re-rotation. So once again, I am insisting taking the spin of the IOL is very, very important. Coming to the image guided system, I think I am well versed with the Callisto Eye with from Zeiss. There is Varian also, True Vision 3D. As I was telling, the best one is the intraoperative aberrometry, that is ORA and hollows. So cases undergoing toric implantation assisted with intraoperative aberrometry are 2.4 times more likely to have 0.5 degree or less residual astigmatism compared with the other standard method. But once again, it's very, very expensive. Then coming to the one or two point about the capsular axis, I think you need to do a proper capsular axis around 4.5 to 5.5 mm. That will make you the result perfect. So intraoperative marking, I think first marking, as I already told, can be done either with the in the patient without slit lamp also. But I always do it in front of the slit lamp. Make sure once you know the axis, then I think you take the patient inside the OT. I do before the putting the incision where I have to put the lens. I mark that first, then I go ahead with the surgery. This is how you mark. IOL axis has to be marked. See, the few words about the Zeiss Callisto system. I think this is the one system, I think everything can be incorporated into this system. See, basically the Callisto Eye matches the reference and the eye image with the technically verified matching precision of plus or minus 1 degree in mean for precise markerless toric IOL improvement. So to do that, I think you need to have a IOL Master 700 also. There's something called Zeiss cataract suit. It has got IOL Master 700, then it has taken into a Lumira microscope, then with the Callisto Eye. So just patient, see, you can see the comparison between the manual marking then with the variant, but you can see how this Zeiss cataract suit result, almost 99% the results, the accurate you can see. We have even marked with the manual, then we took the patient and we cross-check with this. It's almost accurate, but once again, it gives you a lot of confidence when you are working with such equipment, when you are doing this premium IOLs. This is one more thing, one of the our old video actually, you can see some smudging here. This you, I think you try to avoid smudging, because even 2 degree of misalignment also sometimes it may causes some amount of problem. So see, even this is the lens actually from Zeiss, the hybrid lens with the hydrophilic with hydrophobic surface. It's a 4 haptic lens. Normally uh, the astigmat, the whatever the toricity is both on the anterior and the posterior surface of the lens, and it has got a long view, how you can view it very easily even in case of a constricted pupil. So always never ever forget to remove the viscoelastic underneath the lens. This is the key take home message when you are operating a toric IOL. So even this Acris of IQ, it is a sort of a open loop lens, but the principle is same, that here you have to be more accurate while placing beta. It has got a dotted mark on the lens, rather you have to align it properly. Once again, make sure that you remove the viscoelastic underneath the lens. So the one more best method to put the toric lens is injection under the BSS is very important. Here the amount of viscoelastic, you will not be putting any viscoelastic underneath the lens, so chances of lens rotation will be much lesser of post-operatively. So parallax is the difference in the apparent position of the object viewed along with the different lines of the side. So where is the high risk of rotation in case of myopes? Young individual. Always I use capsule tension ring prophylactically, tend to round the capsule back, disturb the tension equally. In conclusion, toric intraocular lens is the best option available to correct corneal astigmatism during the cataract surgery. It gives commendable spectacle independence for distance. Correcting the astigmatism is all more important from premium IOLs where the patient expectations are higher. Conclusion, having image guided system with inbuilt intraoperative aberrometry along with the surgery done by a femtosecond cataract platform gives us the best result, but closest to the perfect. But you have to think about the cost also. Therefore, manual marking with a smartphone gyroscope optimization, self-sealing incision, 5 mm central round capsular axis, perfect IOL alignment, complete visco removal gives us the recipe of success. Thank you, one and all.